Alright, so today we're going to discuss removing a bathroom. There may be a before picture that shows what this bathroom looked like before it started getting ripped apart, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I went through the process of taking it down. So there's a cabinet here with a counter, and don't be intimidated by the cabinet and sink. Really, there's a couple water lines here. You can take off with a simple crescent wrench or a pipe wrench. And once those lines are off, of course you shut the water supply off first here and here. And then these are usually pretty easy joints to turn to get the P-trap off, which goes up to your drain. And once the sink is either lifted out or the whole those are disconnected, the whole cabinet can usually come away. And it was as simple as a couple screws that I accessed from underneath the cabinet. So really you can get these out generally with a screwdriver or a puller of some kind if it's got nails, but usually screwed in. And then the cabinet just gets pulled away from the wall. I broke it down into pieces here and took it all out. And then the next thing I did was to take out the toilet, and it's also very simple. You can do it with basic hand tools. A couple of nuts go over a couple of washers, and these anchor bolts, they just go underneath this flange. Once these are off, and you've turned off the water here and taken off the supply line, of course flush it first and get the water out of the tank, but it's very easy to lift the toilet off of the wax ring, and I just dumped the excess water in the tub and hauled it out. Probably should get some help doing that so you don't drop it on your foot. So after the toilet's out, I was able to rip out the floor, and the other bathroom was tile, and I had to use a large scraper to bust the tile out. You probably saw it in another video, and you can check that video out for more details on how that was done. But I used this to scrape the first layer of cheap linoleum off, and once that layer was gone, I had to use that scraper plus a putty knife and a couple other tools to get that glue and the other junk off the concrete, because we're going to finish this concrete and stain it.
Stop it or you're in big trouble. No. No.
Okay, you can come in closer. So to get this job done, really, the demolition tools required are that scraper I just showed you, a crowbar, a hammer, maybe a drywall saw, and a screwdriver. If you have a little bit of confidence and a couple tools, you can usually do your own demolition and save yourself quite a bit of money. Because
shut your mouth.
Because it doesn't take a lot of skill to do this work. It just takes time, and that's a lot of the time where you get charged from the contractor or the remodeler is the time to do this. The reason we started this project was because there were some leaks behind the tub, and you can see through there the other side of the wall has already been removed because I had to find out where the water was coming from, and it was starting to go through to the other side of this bedroom on the back side. And so really this tub is going to go. It's got some age. It's over 40 years old, and you can see there's some rust around the drain down here, and sometimes you can get these tubs refinished because it's porcelain on cast iron, and you know, they're good solid old tubs. You know, sometimes they're worth refinishing. If you're taking it out though, might as well just get a new tub and put a new tub in. So once I got some of the drywall busted out, it was as simple as bashing a line along the drywall, and you can see to this side over here, these tiles came down in sheets. It's much easier than just breaking them piece by piece with a hammer, plus you're not going to get porcelain and shards flying all over the place. It's less messy to try to take this off with the drywall intact, with all the glue and the tile all together, and it hauls out a lot easier. So when you're doing your removal, try to take it off in sections if you can. Sometimes it's stubborn and you have to bust it out the old-fashioned way. It's just cranking on it, and just make sure you have safety glasses on when you're doing that. And keep your mouth shut so you don't eat too much dust. So a lot of the times what happens is, if there's a leak behind the wall in the plumbing or the drain, same with the toilet, if there's a leak underneath and you've got a wood subfloor, this is concrete so we're lucky, or if there's a drain issue in the sink, the drywall paper here plus the wood act as a perfect environment for mold spores to grow and proliferate. And when that happens, it will bloom, and then the spores will go all over the house and get into other things, and it makes people sick. And so the reason we're doing this tear out is because this house is over 40 years old, and there were some areas where we did find some spots of mold and some areas that looked like they had some water damage. So anytime you see that, you got to start taking out the wall and try to find it. So it looks like a mess here. You see all the drywall's ripped apart. I'm searching for mold. So I've got the same thing here. Punch through here. Once it's cleared, you just start manhandling it and pulling it out. Don't be shy. Drywall is cheap and easy to replace. This old drywall is not made to be in a wet environment. The new type of board you put down is water tight, and it's much better for this shower bathroom environment. So we're going to replace this with a board that is a better backing for whether it's tile or a kit shower you put in. But that's another reason we're taking all this out, is to get the old drywall out and get some more modern mold resistant materials in. The hard part about most of this is just starting the job. Once you start tearing into it, it becomes a lot easier. And yes, I do dress like this when I do demolition work, in case you were wondering. But it's a good opportunity to inspect your plumbing and your vent system when you get the walls down. Any updates you're changing or moving you're going to do, now's the time to do it. So I'll show you real quick how easy it is to knock a line in the drywall and start pulling down tile. That's that easy. You can also use the crowbar, or if you want to, you can get up there and saw through it. If you want a straight line, the saw is definitely going to be a cleaner cut. After you knock it with a hammer, you might have to go back and cut a clean line with the saw, or you go all the way to the ceiling with a new drywall, which is what we're going to do because this is the old drywall, and we're going to put the water permeable board back up there. So if you're just going for it, right there's a stud. So you know there's a stud there. Back over here, stud right there. And then once you clear the stud, it's easy again. Another stud. The reason it's a little tougher here is because this is the header for the window, and there's several 2x4s running vertical right through here. So we'll have to knock this out too, but we'll go ahead and try this side and see if we can get it to pull away.
No.
If you're not keeping your tub, just drop it right in the tub. Can't hurt the tub if you're getting rid of it. Basically, that's about how easy it is. You go through and hit it next section at a time. So that all came down in like less than a minute, and this piece just came down in one giant section. Here's the last section here. Comes right out, and we're done. So that's gonna all come out with the tub, and the tub is gonna be a few nails in the boards that surround it, and then you're gonna need to get a spud wrench for the drain of the tub, or sometimes you can use screwdrivers or a wrench or vice grips, but a spud tool is much easier. You're gonna stick that down in the bottom of the drain, counterclockwise. Once that's clear, and you take off the vent there, the cover, and disconnect that, the whole tub should just come right out. And you'll probably need a hand lifting it and moving it out. So fortunately, we don't have black mold going. There were a few spots along the baseboards where we did have some black mold growing under the drywall. But if you look here, you can see where the moisture was trapped behind the wall, and you see this green color here. That's all mold that had started to grow on the wood. 40 years worth, you know, it's not too bad. And we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with this. This is a load-bearing wall, so these boards can't be replaced. They'll have to be treated and probably sealed with some kind of special antimicrobial or mold fungicide, type of a fungicide paint that will go over and then lock in those mold spores and prevent it from happening in the future. Plus, we're going to redo the backer with a better type of material so that we don't get moisture through the wall, and that with a vent and some other what did I say? So with that and the vent, we should be able to get more moisture out and prevent mold from returning.
Just like and subscribe.
Check out other videos on.
Don't say on. Just to check out more videos.
Check out more videos
Sorry,
on.
Go.
Just so what? Well, that concludes a quick rundown of what we've done here and what we're going to be doing. Check out the next video of the after, what the place looks like when we're finished with counters, toilet, paint, and a new tub and shower enclosure. Or what are we doing?
I don't know.
Check out the next video, what the bathroom looks like after we update it and get some new fixtures and see how it looks. Check out our other videos.